All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started today. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You all are in for a real treat today. And I know you all have been getting all the goodies all this week, right? We have been so excited to bring Financial Literacy Week to you all, and we hope you have been learning and enjoying all the sessions as much as we have. And it gives us great pleasure to do this last class for you all. It's titled 10 Steps of Buying a Home. And my co-host today is Miss Candace Rucker with Keller Williams. And you all, like I said, you're going to get some good information today to help you navigate through this what can seem like a difficult home buying process, okay, right now. But we want you all, we're here to encourage you and let you know that it is possible, but there are some steps that you're gonna have to take, right? So grab your notepad, grab your pen, and be ready to take some notes because you're gonna get some great information right now. And again, this is our last live event, but just know that all previous sessions, if you missed anything, everything was recorded and it's going to be uploaded to our website by Monday next week, okay? So if you missed anything, you can go back and watch those classes and get all that good information. So, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aretha Higgins, and I am the Senior Housing Counselor with Dallas Habitat, and I talk with clients every day about the home buying process. And so it's just a blessing to be able to bring this information to you all. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Miss Candace Rucker.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Or good afternoon. I keep thinking the time goes by so fast.
I know, doesn't it? I still feel like we're kind of in the morning. So good
Right?
afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Well, Candace, I want you to give them a little bit of information about you. Just let them know what you do, okay?
Yes. Thank you so much, Aretha. I'm so happy to be here this afternoon. I hope you all have learned so much throughout the week. But like Miss Aretha said, my name's Candace Rucker, and I am actually with Rucker Group Realty. And what I do is I help buyers and sellers as well as investors. And I also have a focus in property management, residential property management. So I help a lot of investors with their residential properties and managing their portfolios. So I'm really excited to be here to talk about the 10 steps. I know that we have some great information I want to share with you all, and I just hope you all are open to just receiving what we have to talk about.
Great. All right, then. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can go through the 10 steps with our buyers. Again, make sure you're taking notes. All right. We're going to have some questions after she wraps up with the 10 steps.
All right, let's get started. So let's talk about the 10 steps of buying a home. So you all are on this amazing journey of home ownership. And I know in the climate that we're currently in, it may be a little scary, or you might have a ton of questions because maybe what you've seen on the media, maybe what you've seen in the news or on Facebook, or even with friends and family or coworkers that may have talked to you about their personal experiences with purchasing a home. So I want to ease your mind on today and go over 10 easy steps that you can hold on to that helps you with journeying through this process. Now, step one, we talk about hiring a realtor. Now, why do you want to hire a realtor? I know that what I want to also dispel, as a buyer and having a realtor, it's not a cost to you. So it's a free service that you get when you work and partner with a realtor. Now, when I talk about partnering with a realtor, you want to make sure in the realtor that you have confidence, you trust them, you trust their expertise, you know that they have a skill set and that they have your highest best interest at heart. Our job as your realtor, we have a fiduciary duty, meaning that the paperwork that you review and sign, we have to thoroughly go over that. We have a working knowledge of the paperwork and the contracts. It may seem foreign to you or overwhelming, but we break it down to simplify that process so that you have an understanding of what you're signing. So you need a realtor that can comprehend the logistics of the contract and be able to decipher through any type of clause that may be, even in a new community, guys, keep in mind you need a realtor because there's certain clauses in those new community contracts that you may not be aware of that you're signing on. And a realtor can help you make sure that you're signing something that is going to benefit you and not the builder. Another thing, experience. You want to work with someone that has experience in the market, working in every climate of the industry. So be it new community, be it a home that's pre-owned, you want someone that has experience with different market areas. So if you're wanting to live in Dallas or at Collin County, you want to make sure that that person has the level of experience that you're comfortable with and you feel like they are guiding you in the right direction. Also, why you want to hire a realtor? Negotiation. We have the ability to negotiate contracts on your behalf that are favorable to you, the buyer. You don't want to go in there blindsided because there's certain things that could be negotiated and put in a contract that you think is okay, but because you don't know, they're setting you up for failure and putting certain clauses and contingencies in a contract that does not benefit you as the buyer. So when you have an agent, we are skilled in not only knowing the paperwork, the experience, but also the ability to negotiate. Another reason to hire a realtor is pricing. You always want to run the numbers. Remember that, guys, always run the numbers. So in this climate that we're in, we're seeing a lot of homes sell for over asking. However, you want to make sure that you're offering a competitive offer. We don't want to go crazy unless you have the ability to do that, but you want to submit an offer that is competitive with the other people that are offering on that same house that you're interested in. So pricing, we have the ability to run numbers that can price you at a competitive level. And then again, understanding the current market. Realtors, I'm a full-time realtor, so I do this every day. I'm constantly reading, watching videos, studying the market. So you want someone to understand the current market conditions. So something that may throw you off won't throw me off as a realtor because I'm accustomed to dealing with this climate of the market. It's something that I have experience with. So you want to make sure that whoever you hire has a knowledge base of the paperwork, has experience level, has the ability to negotiate on your behalf, understands how to appropriately price a competitive offer for you, and also understands the current climate of the market that we're in. So that's step one. I hope that wasn't too much. I know it seemed like a lot. I felt like it was a lot. So let me know. Let me know in the comments if that's too much. I'm talking too fast because I definitely want you all to get value out of this segment. Now, step two, pre-approval. We're always going to ask you for a pre-approval as a realtor. Why? It's not to force you to get approved for a loan or force you to hurry up and start moving forward. But if you're looking for a house, don't you want to know what your purchasing power is? Don't you want to know if this is a house that you're going to be comfortable with making those monthly payments on? So that's why we ask for that pre-approval, because it allows us as your realtor to understand what type of homes we need to look at. So if you're wanting to pay, so some people, another thing I want to point out is some clients want a $500,000 house, but do you want to pay that $500,000 payment with the taxes, insurance, and the interest? You got to keep all that in mind. I am not, and I'll say for realtors in general, we're not in the business of making you house poor, meaning that you have overextended yourself in such a way that all you can do is pay your house note and you don't have any other discretionary income to do other things such as setting up savings or doing things with your children or going on vacation or saving for a rainy day. So it's really important that pre-approval piece is so important, because you want to know what my purchasing power is and what is my payment going to look like, and am I okay with that? Because at the end of the day, it's your house, it's your financial obligation, and you have to be okay with that. So that's number two. Next, number three, let's discuss your wants and needs. Now, I don't know, or I'm assuming that everybody on this line are first-time home buyers. I'm just assuming. If you're not, charges to my head, not my heart. But when we talk about wants and needs, we need to be really specific on that, because when you get out there and start looking for homes, your mind's going to change. It's one thing to look at something on paper and say, oh, this is good, this is good. But when you actually physically get into that community and you get into that house and start looking at those bedrooms and those closets and that kitchen and that garage, your mind's going to start shifting. I see it all the time. I can almost guarantee you. So let's talk about your 5 must-haves. I always tell my clients, what are the 5 must-have non-negotiables? If I can get you 5 things in a house, what would those be? Some say I need a yard. Some say I need to be in this school district for my kids. Some say I need a kitchen that is better than bad. I need a master bathroom that is everything and more, my oasis. Some people say, hey, I have to have a 2-car garage. I cannot live in a house with no garage. It's got to have a minimum 2-car, and I got to be able to drive into my driveway so I don't got to see the neighbors if I don't want to. So those are the different things when we talk about the 5 must-haves, and we got to get really clear on that, because in the climate of the market that we're in, it's competitive, and the inventory that we have and that we're seeing is not a lot, to be honest. So it's statistically stated that for every 1 home, you got 10 other buyers that are interested in that same home that you're interested in. So it's very important that we get really clear on what your must-haves are, your non-negotiable. And I always say, I know we said 5, but if we got 3 out of the 5, this seems like it meets the most important parts. Are you okay with that? And these are real conversations that we have to have up front, because when you're going into this thing, everything goes so quickly, and it's like your head is spinning. You're seeing so many houses, but don't lose sight of your goal, your focus, and what you said, what we talked about. Now, I understand things are going to shift. That's cool. It happens all the time, but really keep the main thing when we talk about our wants and our needs. Okay. Now, the 4th part of buying a home is negotiating your terms with confidence. Now, I'm going to do simple math. So say, because these homes don't even exist no more, $100,000. $100,000 home don't exist anymore, I don't think, maybe. But say, for instance, we found your home. You're like, I love it, Candace. Let's go. I want to put an offer in on it. I'm like, okay, this is step 4. Now game is on. Negotiating your terms with confidence, and let's get a contract going, okay? So when you put an offer in, there are some costs that you need to be mindful of. 1, we're offering $100,000 for a home, okay? 2, you're going to have earnest money up front for that home. The earnest money amount is typically 1% of the purchase price. However, in this market, it's been higher than that in some cases. Some people are offering 1 to 5% of the purchase price. So keep in mind, when you get a contract executed, you need to have your earnest money, which is typically 1 to 3% of the purchase price. The next cost you're going to need is your inspection. So an inspection typically is running right now about $275 to $600, and that price goes higher and higher the more you add certain extra amenities to. So say if you want a termite inspection as well, that's going to add to the price. Say you want infrared lights in the house to look at the walls to make sure there wasn't any previous undisclosed water damage. That's an extra cost. So the more things you add to a home inspection, the higher it's going to cost. But for a rule of thumb, a home inspection is typically on average about $350. I've seen $275 at the lowest, but let's say $350. So that's another cost. Now, inspections, I'll talk about that in the next piece, but that's an important piece. The next part you're going to need is an option fee. The option fee is typically $100 to $500. And what that option money is that's your reasonable consideration to the seller, letting the seller know, hey, seller, I like your house, take it off the market, give it to me, allow me the opportunity to purchase this home. Your option period is typically can range from 3 to 7 days, maybe 10 days. So in that 3 to 7 or 10 days that you are under contract, you have the opportunity to back out of that contract. Now, if you back out that contract, you will lose your option money, that $100 to $200-300, but you won't lose your bulk of the money, which is the earnest money. And of course, you'll lose your inspection cost. So if you already paid for an inspection up front, then you'll lose that money as well. So those are three costs I just stated. The fourth cost that you need to be aware of when you go under contract is an appraisal. So the appraisal cost is running between like $5 to $6. I've even seen up to $900 if the appraisal is backed up and you need to rush it. So appraisal costs are usually taken a week and a half to 2 weeks after you being under contract, and that's a fee that is taken from you from your lender. So whatever lender you're using, they're the ones that collect that fee from you. So I just want you to be prepared for those 4 upfront costs that you would need to pay just in the event that you submitted a contract and it was accepted. Now, in this market that we're in right now, negotiating the terms with confidence is everything. And you're really going to have to trust the expertise of your agent to guide you through that process. So I know what your aunt went through. I know what your uncle went through and your cousin. I know how their process went. But if that was in 2018 or 2016, even last year, the game is totally different now. So it's really important that when you are negotiating, you have to trust your realtor, because you might have to pay a little bit more money than normal just because of the competitive nature of the home that you are interested in getting, if that makes sense. Any questions? I don't know if let me know, everyone, if I'm talking too fast. I really want you to catch all of this information.
No, I think you're doing fine, Candace. It's a lot of information. So I want everybody to get all the information you're giving us today.
Okay.
Real quick, Candace, will you be able to repeat the 4 costs associated to buying a house? You mentioned appraisal, and what was the other 3?
So the 4 costs, once you're under contract, that you need to be prepared to pay out of pocket is the earnest money, the option money, your inspection, and the appraisal.
Thank you, Candace.
You're welcome. Now, step 5 to purchasing a home is inspection. So I know we touched on that in step 4 under the negotiating your terms with confidence, but in step 5 under inspection, it's very important. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've seen in this market, this current climate we're in order for buyers to win an offer, they are foregoing inspection, meaning that they are waiving their inspection contingency and opting not to get an inspection. I always let my clients know I don't think that's a good idea, especially if it's a pre-owned home and it's older. I always recommend an inspection because, sellers are typically not aware of what's wrong with their property, or they may be, and they may have concealed it. So you always want to get an inspection. Why do you want an inspection? Because they're going to look at the 5 the 5 most costly items in your house to repair if all things go wrong. The first one is the plumbing. They're going to look at the plumbing and make sure the piping is running well. There's no water leaks. You don't have any delays with the drainage. They're going to also look at your HVAC system. Make sure you got heat and cool air, especially in Texas. Could you imagine having your air not working? You just bought a house and it's hot, as hot as it gets here. So they're going to look at the heating and cooling system. The next system they're going to look at is your electrical. They want to make sure that your electricity is good, that everything's up to code with how they've wired your home and how they've wired the paneling in your home. The next thing that is important that they're going to look at is the foundation. We know Texas is known for foundation issues, and foundations can be a huge deal or they can be, simple fix. But in any event, you need to know if this house has any type of foundation, major or minor. If it's major, that can also impact your pipes, your plumbing. So foundation is very important. The last one that's really important that I want to point out is the roof. You want to make sure that the roof is stable because, if it's not, then it needs to be addressed. You don't want it to be a rain, the way we've been experiencing rain and hail. You don't want to experience that and start seeing water coming through the ceiling. So it's really important that those 5 things are looked at, and those are always what the inspector are going to look at. Now they look at an array of other things, so I don't want you to think that they're just limited to those 5 items, but I preface that because those are really high dollar items that need to be addressed. Now, if it has a pool as well, that's a high dollar item as well. So based upon what the amenities in the home, they're going to look at everything. And you want a good inspector, and your agent that you work with should recommend you a good inspector. We work with a ton of inspection companies, so don't feel nervous that I got to find the right inspector. If you're working with an experienced agent, they should have a Rolodex of qualified inspectors or inspection companies that you can choose from that can help and assist with your inspection. So once we get through the inspection piece and you're comfortable, like Candace, the inspection was great, I'm good, let's move forward. Okay, once we're done through the inspection period, now we're just really going forward with the lender. We are step 6, submitting loan to lender. So your loan is your documents. The agent that you have will submit all your documentation to the lender, and we start getting you going. We start making sure that you are getting fully underwritten and taking care of anything that may have come up. We have time to do that. We also spring into step 7 in that same vein of lending, and we order your appraisal and title work, because once we know that you're going to get the house and you're cool with moving forward with the home, then once we submit your loan to the lender, step 7, we're going to also order your appraisal. And that's that last cost that you'll have to pay that I was telling you that goes directly to the lender. They're going to take up that fee, which I said is like $500 to $600, and you're going to move forward and get an appraisal. Now, why do you need an appraisal? Well, because they're going to want to, the bank is lending you money based on the value of the home. So they're not going to lend you money that if the house is not worth what you're paying and purchasing it for. So the appraiser goes out to make sure and assess the value of the home and making sure that is in alignment with what you're offering. Now, like I told you, in this market, people are offering way above asking price. And if that house does not appraise, you will be expected to pay that appraisal gap. So it's very important when we price your home, price the offer. We don't want to go outside of your means, because if something happens and we've already waived your appraisal your appraisal contingency, then you would be expected to either meet the appraisal gap or have to terminate. And we don't even want to talk about that situation, especially when you've come this far. You're already submitted to the lender. You're already going through, you're happy, telling your family, like, I found my house, y'all. You don't want that disappointment. So that is step 7. And that's why the lender orders the appraisal, to make sure that the house is actually worth what you're buying it for. So who waives the appraisal gap? You as the buyer. So when we first do the negotiations and putting together the contract, you have the opportunity, and your realtor will talk to you about that, to waive it or not. And it's a couple of things you can do. You can do a full waiver, which means that, hey, I'm buying this house for $100,000. But if it appraises for $80,000, I agree for a full waiver, meaning that if it only appraised for $80,000, I'm gonna pay the $20,000 plus whatever my closing cost is. That's a full waiver. A partial waiver is, okay, Candace, I'll do a partial waiver. So I know I'm putting the offer for $100,000, but if this house only appraises, if it doesn't appraise for $90,000 at least, I'm not moving forward. So the partial waiver says, hey, if the house don't at least appraise for a minimum of 90, I'm not moving forward. I'm willing to pay 10,000 over to meet the 100, but I'm not going to do anything more than that. A full appraisal waiver is saying, Candace, if this house don't appraise for the 100, I don't care. I still will pay the extra 20. If it only appraised for 80, I'm still going to pay the extra 20 to get this house. Okay, so we're almost done here, guys. I hope that this is making sense to you, but the step 8 is clear to close. Congratulations, we are clear to close. We've met all the requirements. We didn't have any hiccups. It was a perfect, smooth, seamless transition. We always tell you, please don't quit your job. Don't switch jobs. Don't buy anything expensive. Don't use your credit card to buy furniture. Don't use your credit to buy a vehicle to put in your driveway yet. Do it after we close. Do it after we close, because they will check all that information the day of closing. So you don't want to have any hiccups with that. So just hold off. Don't spend anything. Don't finance anything. Just hold off and get ready for closing, which is step 9, getting ready for closing. Now, we as real estate professionals, we help you find your homeowner's insurance. We help you with your utilities, making sure that your utilities are all transferred into the new property at day of closing, because you don't want any interruption in your services. And we also do a final walkthrough. So whenever you're closing on a house, you always want to do your final walkthrough either the day you close, like early in the morning, or the day before you close, like at night, because I've heard from my colleagues, this never personally happened with me, but they've done a walkthrough and a pipe bust and the ceiling was damaged. So just imagine if you would have closed and walk into that situation. So it's always good to do a final walkthrough on your property. And then step 10, which is the last step, is closing day. Just make sure you bring the check, your identification, and get ready to spend about 45 minutes to an hour at the closing table going through all the documents, which seems like you're signing your life away, because you're not signing your life away, but you're making a huge financial obligation. So you're going to have a lot of paperwork to go through and read, and your realtor should be with you every step of the way to guide you through that. So be excited. You're going to take the picture. You know how you see everybody on Facebook, closing day, new house alert, so you'll be at the finish line. And those are the 10 steps, you guys. You're done. I hope that made sense.
It did. I told you all, didn't I tell you? I told y'all was gonna get a lot of great information. So if you didn't take notes, shame on you. Yes. And I know you all that we hit that 30-minute mark, but this is so good that we don't want to stop right now. We want to make sure you all get we get these questions in, and that you all get some more information, okay? But we understand if you're at work or something and you need to drop off, go ahead and do that. Just know that this session is recorded and it's gonna be on the website next week, okay? So you can catch up on it. But we're gonna jump into these questions, okay? All right. So Candace, I know you gave us so much information, and you hit on some of these questions that I have for you. But I just want to know, what do first-time home buyers need to know about today's housing market in DFW before shopping for a home? Realistically, how easy or feasible is it going to be to find inventory under $250,000?
Well, I want to set the expectation that it's a tight race out here right now. And if it's okay, I'd love to share my screen just to kind of show them just what we're looking at in today's market. So I want to share with you all what you need to expect looking at today's market. So if everybody can see my screen, just let me know in the chat that you can see it okay.
Yes.
Okay, so for example, in Dallas County, we have houses that are selling for over asking price. So you see that 101.5, on average, houses are selling almost 2% over asking price. So when your agent says we need to offer a little bit more over asking, don't look at it as like you're just trying to make me pay more money, or you're just trying to get more commission. That is not the case. I promise you guys. We are in a really crazy market where, if you notice at the other side where it says 0.8, we have less than a month of houses available. It's less than a month of inventory. So what that means for you as a first-time homeowner, buyer, expect some competition. Like I said, for every one house, you got 10 other buyers that want the same house you want. So don't get so attached emotionally to the look of the home, and just have an expectation that, hey, I might not get this one, but I'm not going to get discouraged. And you might want to start looking a little bit earlier, because it may take a little longer than what it normally takes. And that's why I love Habitat, because they have also inventory, and they have homes that are available to you. So don't sleep on Habitat, okay?
Exactly. Yes, you beat me to it.
I'm like, I want to live in this house. I want to live in so bad. I'm like, oh, I want this house. So don't sleep on Habitat. So exercise and utilize all your options.
Yes, that's where we can help you with that inventory problem. We have houses, they range anywhere from $176,000 to $220,000. So we're right there at that sweet spot for everybody. So, and also 0% interest. We're helping you with down payment assistance. So please.
Wait a minute, 0% interest. Do y'all know what the rates are looking like? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes, we can definitely help you. So be sure to check out Dallas Habitat's pre-purchase counseling program. All right. Thank you so much, Candace. So when we talk about affordability, we're usually focused on the mortgage aspect. But how do other aspects, like the results of a home inspection or home location, property taxes and things like that, how does that affect long-term affordability?
So that's what we want. That's why that pre-approval process, that first step, is so important, y'all. I mean, you got to be prepared for the payment. Now, when you get a loan, you have fixed costs. So your loan amount is a fixed cost. Your interest rate is a fixed cost. The costs that are not fixed typically are your taxes and your insurance. Those are subject to go up. And as you see, as the house values go up, you see a lot of people paying more in property taxes. So that shifts your payment. Okay. So when you're looking at buying a home, make sure that you can also plan for any type of excess or increases in your payment. And if I could show one more thing about that, is if you look at this screen, guys, This is showing you from 2019 to 2021. This is just showing you the rate of appreciation. So if we look in Dallas, you know, the average price of homes were 444, and now they're 567, or probably a little bit more. So that's a 27% increase in the home value. So buying a home is a good thing. Buying a home is a blessing. If you have anybody that bought a home from 2015 or even further back, they are rich. If they cashed out on their house, they would be in a really good financial position. So housing ownership puts you in a good financial position. It also creates stability for your house, and it also creates generational wealth, because you can pass that on to your children and they can do something with it. So think of this house more than just something that looks pretty and something cute you can take a picture in front of, but somewhere that you can have stability with your family and also create wealth and generational wealth for your children's children.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Candace. This is great information.
Mhm.
So many of our first-time home buyers, you know, they are out to find that forever home. You know, like you say, you hit on needs and wants. Why can this be such a mistake or hold us back when we're looking for, you know, trying to find a perfect home?
Because you'll hold yourself off on a good opportunity. And like I said, when we talk about inspections, let's not get caught up in cosmetics, guys. Don't get caught up in paint. Don't get caught up in carpet. Don't get even caught up in countertop. I know you want granite countertop and quartz countertop, but that's something you can change. If the house has the floor plan you want, if it has the room sizes you want, the space that you want, everything you want, don't get caught up on, I know we have an idea, an image of what we want, but have flexibility. Be able to be flexible during this process, because you might miss out on your blessing because it doesn't look how you thought it was supposed to look, right? We always think something's supposed to go a certain way, and when it doesn't, you know, God can go any type of way, you know, he chooses, or whatever your faith is, but life can go any way it chooses. But as long as you can have an open mind and be flexible in your thinking, you don't want to miss out on your favor and your blessing because you're caught up on carpet color or paint.
Yes, I agree. Those things are so you can easily change those things, right? And the last question that I have for you: what advice would you give first-time home buyers on staying encouraged and positive throughout this home buying process, this home buying search?
I would just say, just stay consistent, and you got to get out there and be open. You might have to be open to a different area. You know, let's look at Habitat. Where are they building at? Habitat does have inventory homes. Habitat is always building. Can I be flexible with that? Can I have the patience? Some people don't even have the patience. And now be patient with the process. You know, I know some people don't have the ability. You might have to move right away, or you're coming up on a deadline to renew your lease. So that's stressful. But if you can create enough space and time for you to have that time to look, you know, just be patient with the process and it'll work out for you. Okay. And flexible.
Mm-hmm. Good, very good. And I did see a question come through the chat. It says, what happens when the house does not pass inspection?
So at that time, there's 4 things that are going to happen. Either we're going to ask the seller to make those repairs that need to be fixed in order for the house to be able to move forward. You guys are going to either ask for, well, in lieu of repairs. So instead of you making the repairs, if they're not lender required repairs, let me preface, then in lieu of you guys making the repairs, just give us a credit back towards closing and we'll do it ourselves. Another thing that can happen, if it doesn't pass the inspection, you guys like, we want them to fix this and fix this, the seller can refuse. They can refuse to fix it. And then that way, if they refuse, then you guys can either decide to move forward or we can terminate at that point. And the last thing that happens if it doesn't pass and it's something that you just cannot get through, you just cannot, like, I just can't accept that, Candace, then you can exit the deal. You can terminate the contract. You won't lose your earnest money. You will lose the inspection costs that you paid and the option fee that you paid, but you won't lose the bulk of that money that you typically put down, which is the earnest money.
Okay. All right, and hope that answered your question in the chat. Another question that came through, Candace, was, do you expect the housing shortage to ever decrease or get better?
I do. I really do. The reason being because we're starting to see the interest rates go up. We're starting to see the interest rates go up, and then we're starting to see the bill starts tick up. So when you have the interest rate going up, meaning that's creating affordability because people can't only afford so much. So if the interest rate keeps going up, that means your monthly payment's going to go up. And if the builders are constantly building because the new starts for new construction are up, then it's going to come to a head where it's going to be some stability in the market. And we should start seeing that, I believe, this year sometime. You know, that's I don't have a crystal ball, so don't take my word. I just think like the interest rates are going to keep going up. They've still got housing starts that are at an all-time high, meaning new construction builds that they're doing. And then you have people that are moving. People are still shifting and moving, and things happen in people's lives. And people might be, another thing that people are worried about is missing out on these high equities in their home. So you might see more people putting their house on the market because they think it's going to be a market crash, and they're like, let me hurry up and sell my house before the market crash so I can get this money. So a lot of people have that mindset as well.
Okay, all right, very good. Hope that answered the question for that person. And then we had one come through, Candace. It says, hi, Candace. How can we find out more about buying an investment property and property management services?
Oh yeah, definitely. We could share my information, and definitely can help you out with answering that.
Yes, I think we dropped your information in the chat. Somebody on the team dropped it in the chat. So very good. All right. So you all, I know, like I said, we're well over time, but it was so much great information, and we wanted to try to make sure we answered at least a few questions. Okay. And we appreciate you all staying on with us. You all are awesome. And we hope that you got lots of great information and you have enjoyed our financial literacy week. And kudos to Candace Rucker for bringing us all this great information. I know you all enjoyed her as much as we all did. Thank you so much, Candace, for taking the time. And again, remember that if you missed any sessions, they're all recorded and you can go back and watch them all next week. All right, on our website. They're going to be uploaded to DallasAreaHabitat.org. All right, so thank you all again and have a wonderful day and a glorious weekend. Bye-bye.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.